Ooh, I love that. First of all, if you want to be paid to speak, stop speaking for free. Let's just start with that, right?
Yeah.
And then the second part is the difference is asking.
Really?
Ask and you shall receive. It's in the Bible.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today, and I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a business coach. Do you have any idea why a business might need a coach? Well, I think I might know, but you know what? Let's just talk to this lady and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Orly Amor. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so you are this is a business coach and networking expert.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to all listeners exactly like what that means?
Sure. So to be a business owner, you need to have entrepreneurship. So being an entrepreneur is not like having a job. When you have a job, you expect to be paid. And when you have a business, it's very different. Many other people rely on you. And sometimes there is no stability in the revenue that comes in. The reason you need a coach is somebody that will be strategic with you and an alliance with you to help you get through those hurdles that happen in business.
So what made you, interested in helping businesses develop their leadership teams?
Well, for me, it was my journey of being an entrepreneur. And when I had employees who stole from me and other things that happened in my business, I learned really quickly that I need to keep the eye on the ball. Mm-hmm. And as I have, education, it wasn't enough to have education. It wasn't enough to have workplace experience. It was just not enough. So when I see other people struggle, I tell them I can help them.
Okay. So did you just wake up and just decide you could do this, or did you work under someone first?
Well, first, I think it's important to have a business and to know how business works. If you don't know that, you can't help anybody, right? You don't wake up, like you said, you don't wake up and say, oh, I'm a business coach today, right? It just doesn't happen that way. But, in order to have a business, you need to find that there's a need. And you need to look at yourself and say, okay, this is what I know. This is what problem I can solve. This is how I can solve it. And here's why they need to care.
Okay. So what type of businesses would need someone like you to coach them?
Every type of business, as long as it's a business. But the most important part about a business is mindset. So what I love to say is that I am a business coach with a checkup from the neck up for business owners. Yes, although I have the experience with business, owning a few businesses on my own, it's very important to recognize a problem in a business, recognize what the mindset is, who is doing what. Doctors are the worst business owners, because they don't look at the details. They just look at the overall, and all they want is to treat the patients. They don't want to do bookkeeping.
Well, what is the best part about working in this industry?
The best part is to see transformation, is to see somebody that wants to attain a $5 million revenue and achieve it. When you get them there, that is beautiful, because they used your tactics, they used your infrastructure, they used your guidance as an advisory board or an advisory council. Like The Godfather, they had the consigliere, and he would tell them what to do, and then they would follow that, and that would help the business.
So, Orly, I was told that you guarantee that you can help a public speaker earn $150,000 within their first year, or you will work with them until they do. How can you offer such a crazy warranty?
Well, thank you for that, because I love that question. The industry right? So every industry has its ups and downs, but an industry has its own guidelines. Now, I'll give you an example. If I can guarantee you, Tiberius, a job at the McDonald's, anywhere USA, can I guarantee you that they'll start you at minimum wage? And the answer is yes, because it's the law. They need to at least pay you minimum wage, okay? Well, in the business industry of public speaking coaching, minimum wage is $150K a year. I'm only guaranteeing minimum wage. I'm guaranteeing the same thing as job at McDonald's for minimum wage. So really, I'm not guaranteeing something stupendous like, oh, you'll make $1 million your first year.
Yeah.
That would be crazy to do.
That would
Although
be
there have been people who achieved that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So what is the biggest difference between those that do get paid for their work and those who are only offered exposure only?
Ooh, I love that. First of all, if you want to be paid to speak, stop speaking for free. Let's just start with that, right?
Yeah.
And then the second part is, the difference is asking.
Really?
Ask and you shall receive. It's in the Bible. So if you know how much to ask, how to negotiate, how to talk to an event planner, where to find them, how to talk to them, what to say first, second, third, those are the things that I teach speakers to get done before they go out there and just, throw spaghetti on the wall and see if it sticks,
And then
They
call it
don't do
art.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, could you do that warranty for like a kid, understanding that they still have school, bowling, homework, and other responsibilities?
Yes, actually, I can. And the thing is, it's about what do they want. Because kids in general, and I don't want to generalize you in there, but kids in general fall in love with multiple things. And it's normal because they are in the creative side of things. They're also in the experiential stuff, side of things. Oh, they want to experiment bowling, or they want to experiment with tennis, or with hockey, or with whatever it is, right? I remember my childhood. I wanted to do 100 million things, right? And I did maybe 2 correctly, and everything else went to crap.
Yeah.
Right? So literally, I didn't follow but I did follow one of my passions, which is to become a lawyer. And so I went all the way through law school and everything, but I didn't become a lawyer. I was able to practice law still my passion, still something I wanted to do, still found a loophole to do that, but in property management. So everybody finds their way. Can I guarantee it to a kid? Well, does a kid 14 or up, I know kids who are 10 who are speaking. So it's not like because the parents are behind them, they have different modalities and businesses because they have, well, no, not the parents in the sense that the parents book them. Do not think that way. The parent is there to encourage, right? There's not one stream of revenue, there's multiple streams of revenue. One of the girls that I know, she was 6 and she wrote a book for kids.
Oh, wow.
And they got it published, and she started selling the book, and she got because her parents were behind it, they also got her to sell 1 million books.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's pretty cool, right? I mean, if you make even $1 out of every book, you're still good. And so and she's speaking, and she's now, I think, 14, 15, maybe 20 even. I haven't seen her in forever. But it's not that it's impossible. It's, do you want to work this? Do you really want to do it? And we can definitely get your message and also get you to understand how much time you will need to invest into your public speaking. There's practice, there's learning how to write a speech, there's learning how to deliver it, opening, closing, call to action, all of the things. One of the things that you just need to ask yourself is, what kind of impact do I want to make in the world?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is one thing you think kids should know about being a business coach for public speakers?
The reason that you want to be a business coach for public speakers is that you want to multiply the impact you're going to have in the world. My goal was to impact 200 million people by 2025, and I gave that to my business coach in 2010. So how do I reach that? By helping others. So when you want to impact people around the world, you want to have other people doing the same thing and multiplying their efforts. So if I'm going to help speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs to get out there and tell me how many people they're impacting. That's how we reach 200 million in November of 2024. Now my biggest bold goal is to reach 500 million by 2030. So you all can help by just doing the same thing. Helping others, help others. It's the ripple effect.
Well, here's like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut! That's a wrap! Just use that!
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service. And firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Orly Amor, a business coach for public speakers. So Orly, how many speakers have you helped in order to make over $150,000 a year?
I stopped counting, but over 400.
Oh, wow. That's okay. That's pretty good.
Yes, it is. That's how we reached 200 million.
That's a lot of
Yes,
money.
that's a lot of money. That's right. But there's a lot of money to be made in this industry, too.
Yes,
Yes.
there is. Now, I hear that you're a speaker as well.
Yes.
How many stages have you been on?
I get on about 6 to 8 stages a month.
Oh, wow.
So, and I used to get on like 12 a month, and that was way too much. I was more living out of a suitcase than I was living at home. So it kind of took a toll on my health. And so, yeah, you gotta know how to expense your energy. I would do it every day. It doesn't matter to me because I love it so much. You know, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life, and that's the truth.
That's true. So you take public speaking to the next level. Can you explain how it's a business?
It's a business because you get paid for your information. So I'll give you an example. No matter how old you are, and this is great segue to your other question. No matter how old you are, you've paid for your knowledge. You paid for it, or your parents paid for it through education, experience, money, time, blood, sweat, tears, aggravations, ups and downs, sacrifices. You've made them. Even at 10 years old, I remember making sacrifices. I used to babysit, and I used to deliver the newspapers. So I made sacrifices to learn entrepreneurship. So all that knowledge is called intellectual property. And that intellectual property is worth paying for. That's my tagline. If you have a message, somebody's willing to pay for it.
That's cool. So it also says here that you're a best-selling author. Well, what got you interested in writing a book?
Well, I was tired of hearing speakers talk about what they heard they need to have in order to be speaking or getting paid to speak. That was such an annoying thing for me. And I know you know what annoying means. Okay,
Yeah.
good. No, I mean, as a child, you know what annoying means.
Oh, trust me. I live with someone annoying.
And the point I'm making here is that it was annoying always to hear what the speakers that want to be speakers and getting paid, what they need to have. Like they need to have a book, and that they need to have a niche or a signature talk or many things, or a podcast. But none of this. You don't need
You don't
any of
need it,
it.
really.
You don't need it at all to get paid as a speaker.
Yeah.
And so I went and I ventured into interviewing event planners that actually pay speakers and said, hey, what do they really need? What don't you like that they do? And I wrote a book called Public Speakers, You're Not All That. 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You. And it took me 4.5 years out of my own time and my own dime to find the answer from the horse's mouth.
Huh. So what is the most enjoyable subject that you write about?
I don't write to write. So the two things that I love writing about is the business of public speaking on multiple levels, on the free, paid, or whatever. And I love writing on mindset. And I do have a book out there called The 12 Powers We Hold Within. It's a mindset mastery series. I only wrote one out of the 6. But yeah, and I have a program to teach people how to do mindset mastery and be more productive and successful.
Nice. So what is the hardest part about being in your industry?
The hardest part is getting over objections. You know what I get people say to me, "I never heard of you," and I say, "Well, I never heard of you either." That makes 2 of us, doesn't it? You know, and so a lot of people have this. Let's glorify the name and let's drop a name like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I work with Tony Robbins." Well, good for you. How does that work for you? You know, like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have no filter between my brain and my mouth. I literally don't care. But what I do care is that did it work for you? Have you gotten something out of it? We all learn something
Yeah.
from every aspect of either if we learned it from a book we read or an experience we had with that person, showing up at their event or meeting at an event or networking with people. I mean, you always learn something, but you don't have to take that and put it on a, in
Yeah,
a
put
frame
it on
and
a
put it
name,
on
yeah.
the wall and make it like a certificate or something.
Yeah.
It's like, that's ridiculous.
So do you get to travel all over the world, or do you do a lot of your talks on Zoom or remotely?
So great question, but it's a double-edged question. One is I love to travel. That's the reason I got into this business. I love traveling. So I've been to like 31 countries so far, 18
wow.
states of the United States. I'm still working on them. I would love to go to all of them. And the second part of it, you said, do I do any on Zoom or virtual? Well, since pandemic, things have shifted and many things became on virtual, which was awesome actually, because Zoom sped up our industry by 13 years, which is great, right?
13 years?
Yes,
So,
by
wow.
13 years forward. And still 78% of events are virtual.
Yeah.
Well, they're called hybrid because some of them are live, meeting in person, and then they bring the speaker through Zoom. I just spoke in Italy for 1 hour through Zoom. I got paid very well for it, and I never saw the crowd. I don't know who was there.
Oh,
but
wow.
they told me there was about 1,000 business people, but I don't know. I can't tell you. It's true. I can't tell you.
Who knows? They could have been recording it and used it for something else.
I would have seen if they're recording it. So
Really?
yeah, you can see when somebody's recording you on Zoom. You can tell. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
So what should a kid listening right now do to prepare if they want to grow up and work as a public speaker?
Well, there is Toastmasters, which they have a program for kids as well. You know, before you're 18, you can join Toastmasters. They have little clubs for
Yeah.
kids, and they do great things. And Toastmasters just gives you more confidence, teaches you certain skill sets in public speaking. We all need it. I was talking to a teenager yesterday who actually is in high school, and he wants to know how to get out there as a speaker. And every second word was like,
Yeah.
and that needs to go away. So I literally stopped him in his talk to me, and I said, "You got to stop saying like."
Yeah.
And then he stopped. He was able to, I said, formulate your thought and give it to me so I can answer your questions better. Because it was really annoying to hear that word. I'm sorry to say that. But now I love kids and I love ambitious teenagers. That is the way of the future. But they need to understand that there's a learning curve to everything and to give themselves grace to learn the skill set that is needed to become great at something.
Yeah, I can agree with you about the word like. I see book talks a lot during school, and literally every second word is just like. I'm like, well, explain it like this instead. And they're like, this is 10 times better than what I wrote. How did you do this? I'm like, I just don't say like as much.
Oh, there you go.
So, Orly, what is the most misunderstood part about your work?
That I am a business coach for public speakers, not a speaking coach. Many times when people introduce me, they say, "Oh, she's a speaker coach." That's not true. I do not teach you how to speak. I don't teach you how to deliver a talk. I can, but that's not what I do. What I do is teach you to make money in this business and treat it as a business.
So, who can you say was the person that helped drive your passion the most?
I've been to so many talks. There was a gentleman by the name of Antonio Rodriguez who I saw speak. And I thought, wow, that's what I want to do when I grew up, right? And I was pretty much an adult. But the passion of sharing, I started working. I was in property management for 25 years, and I was speaking in that topic for a long time, across the country, across Canada. And the truth is that that's when I fell in love with public speaking. But the passion that comes from helping others is really from my personal story, where one I was speaking at a women's shelter, and a woman there wanted to end her life.
Oh, wow.
That day, and she came to me and said, that's what I was going to kill myself this morning, but I heard you speak and I want to live. I just need you to show me how. And I realized that it's much bigger than me. The message, the passion came from, this is much bigger than what I thought it would be.
Yeah. Wow. What's the best advice you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
Ooh, that's a good one. So I follow two mantras. One of them is by Les Brown, the how is not your business. And one of them is by Sir Richard Branson, who says, when an opportunity knocks, say yes, figure it out later. And the best advice I've ever gotten is, as long as you are above ground, you can still make it. So now my talk with people when they say, how's it going? And I'm like, every day above ground is a good day.
That's true.
Yes.
So what message do you want to tell children all over the world about doing the work that you do?
Never give up. Keep going no matter how hard it is. Don't let anyone tell you what you should and should not do. Because if your passion is there to change the world in any way, shape, or form, whether you change one person's life or 1 million people's lives, it doesn't matter. You're changing someone's life. Don't quantify anything you do in comparison to someone else. Make sure you're doing your own and following your own trail. Be a trailblazer.
Well, on that note, let's do a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back with Orly Amor, the founder of Speakers Annex. So what was one thing that happened in your career that you did not expect?
Oh, that is such a cool question. What I did not expect. The first time that I decided that I'm not gonna sell anything, right? Because a lot of speakers sell from stage, and I don't do that. And one day, one of the people that I met at a networking event came to see me at my office, and she said, I'm doing this event, and I'm going to have 4 speakers. You're each going to pay me $2,500 to be on my stage. I'm going to have 100 people there, and you can sell whatever you want, and I'll give you the list of all the attendees. And that's called pay to play.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to do that, but I didn't even know what that meant yet. That was my first introduction to it. Well, what I did is I told her yes, because she said 4 speakers, so I thought I would have exclusivity. I gave her a check for $2,500. Yes, it was a long time ago, and that's a lot of money. Even today, it's a lot of money, but then it was like a lot of money. And I called my friends who are speakers, and I said, "You'll never believe this. I'm going to be a part of this event. I'm one of 4 speakers. I just gave her $2,500. That's how much she charges every person. And there's going to be 100 people there. I'm allowed to sell whatever I want. And she's going to give me the list of all the attendees." Each one of my friends, who, by the way, are all speakers, said, "Are you crazy? She's going to make $10,000 and you paid her $2,500 each. What if she doesn't have 100 people there? What if she has only 50? What if she has only 20? Yeah. What if you don't sell anything?" And let me tell you, I was buyer's remorse. I was crying. And then I went home. I was like literally just crying. And then I thought to myself, hold on a second. I make more money than my friends. Maybe I should learn from this experience. So I decided to keep it that way. And I went to this event prepared. And I'll tell you this, from that event, she had more than 100 people there. So that was a good thing.
That was good.
I'll tell you what was the unexpected, but I know I'm going about it the long way, but it's important. So I sold one of my packages, which at the time was like $3,600. So let's say I got my money back. We're good, right? And she gave me the list of all the attendees. So I decided to use this as a business, hence why I'm a business coach for public speakers. And I used that first one, because that was my first one to pay.
Yeah.
And I used that first one to track my numbers for a whole year, 365 days from that event, with follow-up, follow-through, touching base, all of that. And within 1 year, exactly 365 days, I made $92,000 from that event alone. So think about the investment here. The investment was $2,500, if you remember. I already got my money back because I sold at $3,600. But for a whole year, guess what? I got more clients. I got more referrals for more speaking gigs. What that paid me.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I got to $92,000 from only one event. Look how much money you can make from any other.
And you got a surplus of money back.
Yeah, well, that's just goes without saying. But the one thing that you said is like, what was the biggest surprise? Is that all my friends were like, "What? Are you nuts? Are you crazy?" And I stood steadfast to pay for learning. Because even if it was a dud, then I would have learned that those things don't work.
Those things don't
but
really
what
work.
But what how am I putting myself into that situation? So from every situation that you're put in, you can learn something and you can make it better. So now I've perfected that without selling from stage at all, and people are making money.
So what are some of the awards that you've received from your work?
Awards. I was Businesswoman of the Year once. I got actually twice in 2 different places. And many certificates and many little awards. But I'm not about awards, so I don't even participate when they do have these competitions or anything like that. I'm not competitive. I am just, you know what? I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to serve, not to sell. I don't really care about awards and certificates on my wall. What I care about is how many people are impacted by me, how many people know me, how many people love me, how many people want to be around me, hang out with me. That's more important to me than an award on a wall that nobody will ever see.
Yeah, other than you and
Exactly.
your office.
And I really don't need that boost of confidence or ego boost. I don't need the ego.
No.
That's,
So what have you learned about yourself that you wish that you knew earlier?
Oh, wow. So much. You know, in life, you are taught that you need to have a great education and you need to get a good job and you need to step up in the ladder of corporate, and the more money you make, the better it is. And I found out that that's not true. What's true is where my heart is. And what I wish I knew is that I wouldn't have given up on my dream to be a professional singer. I sing very well. I was in a bunch of competitions. I won a bunch of competitions, but I started at the same time as Celine Dion. And her mother took her to a record dealer and so on and pushed her where my parents did not. But do I really regret it? No. I know now what I know about that industry of Hollywood and the show business. I would have not been a good fit.
Well, if you could change anything that makes your job easier or better, what would it be?
Do you know the television series Suits?
Yes, I've watched that. The full entire thing.
You remember the Donna?
Yes.
I would love to have an assistant like Donna. That's in my goals, my wishes. I would want to have a Donna on my corner. This is my biggest wish.
That would be helpful, yeah.
That is so cool.
To have
She
someone
knows
like
what
that.
I'm thinking before I'm
exactly,
thinking it.
yeah.
She knows what to do and has it, you know. Remember that commercial or that little...
It's like, hi, I need here.
You know, that little, hey, Donna, where is that? Don. And then I didn't have time to stop for coffee. Don, will you marry me? She goes, we did that already 7 years ago. It was so, like, that scene is so amazing, right? Me too. I watch it all the time, and it's so cool. I want a Donna.
That would be really helpful. Okay, if you could go back in time and give your 14-year-old self advice, what would it be?
There's places I wouldn't have walked because of my personal story. There's people that I would have not listened to. I would have spoke up earlier. I was not I'm still shy. I'm not an extrovert. I'm an introvert. And a lot of people say, what? No way. You're not an introvert. I am an introvert. And I just wish that I would have spoken up earlier. There's places I would have not walked because of my personal story. It's horrible things that have happened. I would have not rushed to make decisions, that I would have thought them through. So there's a lot I would have said to my 14-year-old, but I would say also to my 14-year-old that you're never going to regret everything that happened to you, because everything that happens to you is for a reason, whether it's for you to learn from or teach others. So it's all good. No matter what happened to you, it's all good.
Okay, well, Orly, on your off time, what are your favorite things to do?
I love reading. I'm an avid reader, at least one book a week. Another thing that I love to do is just, well, now I love my phone. Like, there's a lot of games on there, but I only have one game now that I'm very obsessed with. And then I have needlepoint that I like to do. It's an old, if you will, hobby. And I have a goal for this year to finish what I started when I was 12. So it's because it's a big one. It's huge.
Well, that kind of leads into our next question. Do you play any video games? And if so, what's your favorite one?
The favorite one is the one when, you know, there's a bunch of objects and you have to match two to get into the hole.
Match 3 games?
Match 3 games, yeah. I am obsessed. I play that hours on end, and not during the day. I only play at night, like before I go to bed or something like that. I'll play for hours. And you belong to like a team. It's a world team. And sometimes there's a tournament every weekend. So I'm a part of the tournament. And last weekend I got through, like we got to number 3. I was like, oh my God, we got to number 3. We have to get to number 2 next time. And so I encourage everybody in the chat, and I'm loving it. I really do. And my husband says, what are you doing? Playing. What are you doing? Playing.
I'm doing winning.
Yeah, winning.
Well, what is your favorite book to read?
I love self-help books. I'm reading Dan Sullivan. He has 3 books that are really amazing. The first one is Who Not How. Find people to do for you what you don't want to do for yourself. Find people with the talents that can do. And you know what? Ever since I read that book, a ton of people came to my team, and a ton of people got me through the finish line. I am just so obsessed with that. And number 2 is, so that was his first book, Who Not How. The second book is The Gap in the Game. It's about being always in gratitude of what you have. Stop looking at what you don't have. Look at how far you've come instead of what's missing still, right? It's like, I lost 230 pounds. And so, yes, there's like 60 more to go, but I've lost a lot of weight. So it's like, look at what you've done instead of getting depressed. And so when are you in the gap and when are you in the gain? You're in the gap when you're thinking negative, no matter what it is. You're in the gap. Or when you're jealous of somebody, or when you're resentful with something, or when you're upset about something that is so ridiculously stupid. Literally, we all do it. It's not that we don't, but we got to ask ourselves the question, am I in the gap or am I in the gain? In the gain is when you're grateful for anything that happens to you. Every person you meet, I never take anyone or anything for granted. And that is a great gain to live by, right? And the third book he has is 10x is better than 2x. And that's because, and I'm still reading that. So I can tell you that it's all about how you can multiply one thing that you're doing. Instead of always looking for a new thing to do, how can you multiply already what you're doing? Like your CD, right?
Yeah.
You're going to go and sell it. Well, you can multiply the sales of that and just focus on one thing. You don't have to do
multiple things at once,
Yeah. There you go.
It's like how you said, you don't need a book right away. You don't need all these things yet. Just start it slow.
Start where you are. Yeah, and appreciate where you are.
Yeah. So, what is the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
The biggest mistake would be trusting the wrong people. I had employees in my office. That's a long time ago. But I had employees in my office where I was so trusting that I can leave town, I can do my thing, if you will, and they will take care of business. Well, at one point, they got together in cahoots with the bookkeeper and stole $84,000 out of my bank account and everything that was in the office. Yes, maybe for some people it's not a lot of money, but it was a lot of money for me, right? And so I'm not as trusting anymore. You trust but verify. That's another advice that I was given very, very often is trust but verify. Trust but verify. Put all the components in place to make sure that you're safe.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid's show.
Yes.
That one story, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
Oh, wow. Okay, that I'm not supposed to tell you about. Well, okay, let me do this. I'm going to tell you my personal story, okay? And how I got to that women's shelter. I have a personal story, and before I tell you my story, I'm going to tell you that my girlfriend once... Do you have an annoying friend? Do you have annoying friends? Yeah, we all have annoying friends. So my annoying friend said to me, I want you to come and speak at this women's shelter. And at the time I was in property management. So I said to her, what do you want me to speak about, property management? And she said, no, silly. I want you to come and tell your story. And I was not ready to tell my story. I wasn't really wanting to because, even for kids, it would be too hard to listen to. And she said, you have such a bubbly personality and you're like a social butterfly. Come and tell them your story and give them hope. You're living a lifestyle that most people dream about. Come and give them hope. So I finally decided to say yes, and I went. And after I was done speaking, there was not one dry eye in the place. And after I got off the stage, a lot of people came to me and thanked me for coming, for sharing. And that's when I met that lady that wanted to kill herself. And here is my story. I was a beaten up child. I was molested 4 times before the age of 14. I was raped 3 times before the age of 22, twice gang raped, 9 months apart, left for dead. I was also married to a very abusive husband, both mentally and physically. Wow. And as a result of that, I had 4 abortions and I gained a morbid amount of weight. I was 428 pounds at my heaviest.
Wow.
Kids will hear that and say, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
And even though earlier I said, no matter what happens to you, it's still for a good reason. Guess what? Now I get to share this story, but not in the way of boo-hoo, oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
It's like, no matter what you go through, don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Remember those 4 words. This too shall pass.
Yeah, those are great words, I will say. But do you have a Facebook or a website for my listeners who want to follow you?
Sure. I'm on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Yes. Oh, Facebook, LinkedIn. And you can go also to my website, meetorlyamor.com, meetorlyamor.com. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere. You can definitely follow me and ask me questions and reach out. I love helping people and I love answering questions. So don't be shy.
Well,
yeah.
What is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I think you forgot to ask me. What is most important to me?
What is most important to you?
What's most important to me is community, integrity, service. Those are the 3 values or core values that I cherish very much.
Okay. So, thank you, Orly Amor, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Of course.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Orly, for helping me with Math Corners. And this week, we're just more multi-step word problems. For my dad, always makes great multi-step word problems. But you know what? Today, we're going to talk about... Oh, no. My dad's trying to teach me a lesson on time management. Okay? So, Emma, she wants to finish her homework, play outside, and read a book before she gets home. Before bedtime at 9 p.m. She gets home from school at 4 p.m. and spends 30 minutes having a snack and relaxing. Her homework takes 1 hour and 15 minutes, playing outside takes 45 minutes, and reading takes 40 minutes. Does Emma have enough time, before bedtime? Does she have time to do everything? And if so, how much free time does she have left?
Wow, you want me to answer that question? I can try.
I got it. Well, this is a real problem because, my dad is always giving me tasks to do and seeing if I can play to have enough time to do them. So first, you have to start with the time she gets home. So 4 p.m. Then you have the time for the snack, which is 30 minutes, so 4:30. Then you have the time for the homework, which is an hour and 15 minutes, would be 5:45, which that's pretty easy. Then you add outside, which is 45 minutes, you get 6:30 p.m. And finally, you do the reading, which is only 40 minutes, so it's 7:10 now. And she has some extra time, if your dad asks her to cook or do dishes or anything, she gets all the tasks done in time. That's the first question. Now you take the 9 p.m. and subtract 7:10 p.m. You get 1 hour and 15 minutes of free time to play video games or do anything that's not more reading. Please no. I do not like reading. So Orly, do you have to plan out your time management to complete tasks so you can see if you have any fun time during the day?
Actually, I plan my fun time into my time. So I put it into my schedule. And I also have Orly time. And Orly time on my calendar means I take care of my self-care, my mindset, my own going outside, looking at the sun, meditating, and all of it is calculated into my time. Everything is between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. After that, I can do pretty much whatever I want, which is playing with my phone until I fall asleep. That's pretty much what I do.
Well, my teachers said that I would use math every day. How do you use math with your work?
Oh Lord, yes, we do a lot of math in my work. Knowing your numbers in public speaking is very important. How many people do you reach out to? How many of those respond to you? How many of those are you getting booked for? How much money do you make from each one? How much time do you spend tracking each and every single event to make what I did back when, remember?
Yeah.
And so, yes, math is every part of and how much time it takes me to do tasks.
Yes.
I also calculate that. And I not only track my time, I track my employees' time too. How much does it take for them to do stuff?
Dang.
Yeah, that's math.
Well, thank you so much, Orly, for your help with Math Corners.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and ability. This week, we're going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. The qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. You know when someone's being obedient when they follow instructions willingly and thoroughly. So a long time ago, my dad taught me about set when I was in martial arts. He would firmly say set, and I would stand at attention and freeze. I used to think that it was just stupid, not because I did it, but I just did it because, I was being obedient. But not that long ago, I was with a bunch of friends playing around with a ball, and then the ball that we were playing with rolled across the street. So we all started to run to go get it, and my dad yelled, set. I stopped in my tracks and stood at attention when the other kids ran across the street with the car swerving to miss them and honking their horn. My habit of following directions kept me safe when my dad said I could see something that everyone else had missed. I will be certain that when I have my kids to teach them to set because it could save a life.
That is beautiful.
So Orly, do you have an example of obedience that you saw this week?
That I saw this week. Yes. And sometimes obedience can come from your own heart, your gut feeling. And it's important to listen to your gut feeling. It's also obedience. Obedience to basically God's message to you, which comes from within. One of the things that I did literally is that we were going to have a cruise for speakers. And I basically canceled it because I was obedient to my heart. My heart said, don't do it. Cancel it because there's something better. And there must be something better, cost less, all of that, and that you can do very successfully. Right after I said that, a friend of mine called and he said, I want to introduce you to somebody. He used to work with Tony Robbins and he knows how to do these events and fill them up. So we get on a call with this guy, and guess what? Not only he's going to help me with doing the cruise, but he's not charging me either. So, that is just amazing in a sense that now when you follow your gut, it's being obedient to your gut feeling, and you got to know what that means. It might not seem, even remotely rational to you, right? Like, why would I cancel? Yes, sure, I'll get my money back from the cruise line. But then what? What will happen to this cruise? Guess what? It's amazing what can happen when you're being obedient to the law.
So, Orly, of all of the Heart of a Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
I thought you were going to say the one I don't see the most. The one I don't see the most. But the one I do see the most. And I think you need to repeat them to me. So it's L.
Leadership.
Integrity. Obedience.
Nobility.
Oh, again. Okay, so what I see a lot is leadership, but still I won't commend it. I will just say leadership with a question mark. It's still, the one that's missing the most is integrity.
That's true.
People don't walk their talk. They just talk a lot of smack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They talk before they think.
That too.
That's what I do. A lot, actually.
Yep.
But we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Orly Amor for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think I learned a lot about your work as a business coach for public speakers and how to get paid.
Thank you.
That's a mouthful. Wow. Well, do you mind giving your social media and website again?
Sure. MeetOrlyAmor.com. And you can follow me on all social media outlets, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of it. Instagram. It's I am Orly Amor.
Okay. Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, Canteen 98, Soul Radio 24/7, Easyway TV, and all of the other stations that air my show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Orly, please tell me you're subscribed.
I will.
Okay, so you're not yet, but you will.
I
Okay.
will. I'm honest.
Dad, you better
Integrity.
check those statistics. You better check them. Oh, and be sure to leave me a comment if you want to work in the public speaking world. I answer all the comments myself. And also, be sure to listen to us next on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.